Good afternoon, my name is Greg Effinger. I'm here with Adam Zabel. We're starting a painting in the kind of early spring. Colors still haven't popped yet. We're out here on 131, about 5 miles south of Steamboat Springs. We've got really a gorgeous day. So hopefully you can join us for our painting. We are painting the exact same scene back towards Catamount, the golf course, a couple little houses, and some fields. This should be a really interesting painting considering that the colors will be coming out probably next month. Did you want to tell me a little bit about your palette? What you were explaining to me earlier? This is kind of a limited palette, isn't it?
Well, it's not quite limited. Limited would probably be like six and under. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 11 colors. So I may not use all of them. I just put it out, and most of the time I don't usually stick. It's a good idea to stick to a specific palette as much as you can, but when you're out and about, you'll see different colors, and the way you mix your paint will change depending on what you're painting. This particular painting, I'm doing started out with doing a little bit more of some thinner paint, and then I'll work my way up.
Does that work a little bit like a watercolor?
Yes. Yeah.
Let it flow a little bit?
That's the way you do the watercolor too. So. And as an artist, even though this time of year we don't have really great colors, you do it enough, you're outside enough, you can use your artist initiative and add a little bit more color into it. But sometimes keeping it grayed down, it actually makes a much better painting a lot of the times.
Yeah, it can make a really lifelike painting.
Yep. It's like we still got a little bit of snow up here, so that's nice.
Yeah, I saw that coming down that kind of avalanche chute up there.
Yeah, that should make a nice effect in the painting.
So we've been painting together in a lot of the same events for the last, I would say, 15 years or more.
Yeah, I'd say they're here in Steamboat. I think it's about 17 years. 17? Yeah, so maybe 18 since we started.
What would you say has changed in you the most over all these years?
It's hard to say sometimes because things change so slowly. You reach a certain point, and then as you get better, it's just tiny little bits as you hone your craft.
Oh. So
it's kind of hard to say, but I would probably say I've become more painterly, more loose with my brush work. I've done a lot more experimentation with different ways of doing things, and
where at one time you might have been using 20 different brushes during a painting, and the next thing you know you're just using 2 or 3.
Yeah, and then also sometimes I would have way too many colors of paint and I thought I was being smart by doing that because I could actually do it with that much paint. But as you learn how to blend all the different paints together, you can hone that down into just a few colors that you really need.
Would you say that makes mixing the colors go faster?
Yes, and it keeps your workspace a lot cleaner too. When you have too much going on, especially if you got lots of bugs and wind and whatever, all that stuff gets right into that paint.
What about have there been some milestones that really prove to you that your art is being appreciated, that you enjoy the work a lot more?
I think once you get into some of the larger art contests where you're competing against some of the best of the best, it's crazy. You're your own worst enemy, your own worst critic, and you nitpick everything you do to the point where you can just give up because you talk yourself out of it. And then you get around other artists that have been doing it for a long time, and you see, hey, I'm doing pretty good. And then you also can compare, and you can see where you need to work a little bit more.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the folks that I talk to don't have quite that level of skepticism about themselves, and they don't take their paintings as seriously, although the work comes out fantastic.
Yeah, yep, that's something I've learned, is to not be so hard on yourself, because I'd say 75% of the time somebody else will look at it and find a masterpiece. Yeah, I've been surprised mostly by a lot of the really detailed work that takes weeks or whatever to do a painting, maybe months, and it'll be the painting that I do in 2 hours that a lot of people like, are more attracted to.
Is that like that buffalo painting you showed me earlier?
Kind of like that, yeah.
That one took you a lot of time, huh?
Not really. I'm pretty fast with it. I kind of ran out of some different pieces to put in for that show, so you kind of got to go with what you got. You can try to paint for specific things, but a lot of times it doesn't work out that way. You'll end up trying too hard and just messing stuff up.
Tell me about that show.
The Oil Painters of America?
Yes.
This is the second year. It's been 4 years since the last time they were here in, was it 2022, I believe, or 23? And it's a accumulation of pretty much all the best artists around the world, but mostly in the United States.
And they have more events than just the two we're talking about. They have events all over the country, right?
They're all over the place, and most of their artists are able to do the traveling and the advertising and all that stuff.
You do some traveling, am I right?
Yeah, I'm starting to do more and more. I think it's like I was saying, once I pay my house off and the finances, just loosen up a little bit more, I'll have more time to take off. That's something I've always wanted to do, always will do, is travel. But before I got married, I traveled all over the place and did big workshops, which was a great experience. I did Jim Wilcox's up in Wyoming.
Jim Wilcox?
Yeah, Jim Wilcox. He doesn't do it anymore. I think he's gotten to the age where I think he's put it off for his kids, who kind of run the gallery and stuff for him there, and up in the Tetons, by the Teton Mountains up there. And I'd say probably some of the best. Jim was really good at teaching. Kwang Ho was probably the best teacher of all of them, but he's hard to get to do that kind of stuff. Did
you take a class with him?
When he was here, when he came in through the museum there, and he was doing a show, probably at least 10 years ago. I did a workshop with him.
Well, that's interesting. Do you think about parts of what you learned from him still to this day, or have they pretty much adapted into your own methods?
Yeah, there's some of the stuff that I really remember from him that helped me a lot is breaking up my edges with my brush work, because he was just really loose. And I remember when I'd have a painting finished and I had like tight edges, and he would come right over with his brush and go, "Can I show you something?" And I'd say, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." And he would just put his brush right in there and move everything around.
Oh my goodness.
And get rid of all my edges. And
don't touch my painting.
He was right. It looked a lot better. It looked great, especially as when you're adding distances into your piece and stuff, and you want to keep more of those tight edges and color and everything into your focal point and knock everything else out around it.
Do you want to mention any other shows? Or, I'm sorry, any other artists you've studied under?
Well, when I first got out of the military, who did I? There was quite a few of them, but probably Richard Galusha. That was like one of my very first. I paid him about $30 an hour because I didn't want him to do it for free. And at the time, he was still working at the high school doing his art stuff, and so he would wait for me, and I'd meet him up there at the high school after hours, and he'd bring a model in, and we'd paint, doing portrait work, and then he would take me out. He took me out all over, and we did a bunch of plein air painting. I'd say he taught me the technique of massing, the understanding massing a little bit more, how to mass all these colors in, and it teaches you how to pre-mix a lot of your paints ahead of time, and then you just mass it in, which
that'll speed you up.
It speeds a lot of things up.
So you talked about competitions. Do you feel like there's a difference when you're painting for yourself versus painting in a competition?
Sometimes. I think your results can be much better when you're around other people that are better than you are. It's a good rule of thumb to get out and not be afraid to not be the best where you're at. Find people that are better than you at specific things, and then try to figure out what they're doing. That's the fastest way to learn.
Okay, yeah.
But you can learn a lot too by spending a lot of time trial and error, doing things over and over and over and over again. That's kind of what I did.
Where did you grow up?
Mostly in West Texas.
Okay.
But most of my high school was probably in Colorado Springs. All right. I like the way those greens are kind of looking in here with the purples now.
What percentage of the painting do you think you're at?
I could probably be at 50%.
50%?
I'm taking my time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm finding that I'm not hot, I'm not cold.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of wind, and it's making everything dry faster. Mm-hmm. But I've been able to slow down and not be rushing this.
Yeah.
Like I feel like some of my other outdoor paintings are a lot more rushed.
Right. Yeah. I've never been afraid of messing a painting up.
Never?
No.
I'm always afraid. You're so knowledgeable in this. Do you ever teach courses? If you were to do a workshop, would you do it indoors or would you do it out here?
Both.
Do it both?
Yeah. Because I do a lot of studio work too. When you're doing like wildlife and things like that, you need to have a little bit more of a controlled environment. If you want to do like realism and more realistic type of work. So I would take people inside and outside, because a lot of upper level teaching will take you into the studio. How you set up your studio, how you do the business side of it, stay on top of that. But how you set up your studio makes a big difference. Your lighting, your resources that you're using.
I hear you. That's something that over time you figure out. But if you're really wanting to jump into it, it could really slow you down not having that ready.
Yep.